I had to stay and keep the faith in my abilities and my instincts every single time, especially facing a guy who's as confident as Faber is all the time. You have to believe in yourself. No matter what anybody said, I just stuck with it and had my coaches and my team behind me, and that's all I needed and got to.
Everybody in the division knows who I am and what I am, and regardless of this loss, if they fight me, they better have their head on straight because I'm coming after them.
Hi guys, welcome to TopNewsage. Hit subscribe and press the bell icon to get notifications from TopNewsage. Today we're going to look at
Dominick Cruz streak 24-3.
Let's get started.
Dominick Cruz is an American professional mixed martial artist who is currently signed with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC. He is number 10 in the UFC bantamweight rankings as of September 27, 2021. He is known for his unorthodox movement, powerful wrestling base, and quick striking in the wrestling world. Dominick Cruz began wrestling in 7th grade, but his professional career started in 2005 from mixed martial arts MMA. After that, he joined the World Extreme Cage Fighting with a record of 9-0, which emerged with UFC on October 28, 2010, and all the wrestlers transferred to the UFC. In this video, we will discuss all the fights of the Dominick Cruz streak. Let's get started. Dominick Cruz vs. Eddie Castro 1-0. This was the very first professional fight of Dominick Cruz on 29 January 2005 in Rage in the Cage 67 back to Dodge. He really wanted to make it memorable by winning. Both showed great intent throughout the fight and put some strong punches on each other. Fortunately, Dominick Cruz was able to win it on a split decision at the end of the third round. Dominick Cruz vs. Roscoe McClellan 2-0. Dominick Cruz faced Roscoe McClellan in the second fight of his streak on 11th June 2005 in the Rage in the Cage 70, The Return. Both had won only one of their fights so far. The first round started smoothly, where both showed great intent. In the second round, Dominick Cruz snatched the victory on TKO punches at 1 minute and 26 seconds and moved his streak to 2-0. Dominick Cruz vs. Tom Schwager 3-0. Dominick Cruz and Tom Schwager's fight was held in Rage in the Cage 73, Arizona vs. Nevada on 6th August 2005. Tom Schwager had already lost his first fight and really wanted to win this time. But it was not easy to beat Dominick Cruz, who won both of his first professional fights. It proved the easiest fight of Dominick's streak as he won the fight only in 56 seconds of the very first round. Dominick Cruz vs. Josh Donahue 4-0. This was the fourth fight of Dominick Cruz, which was held on 10th September 2005 in the Rage in the Cage 74 In Your Face. Josh Donahue had only appeared in one professional fight so far, while Dominick Cruz won all of his 3 fights. The fans were expecting a good fight as both of them showed great intent, but Dominick Cruz proved stronger for Josh, who won the fight on TKO punches at 1 minute and 9 seconds of the second round. Dominick Cruz vs. Nick Hedrick 5-0. Dominick Cruz faced Nick Hedrick on 30th September 2005 in Rage in the Cage 75 Friday Night Fights. After winning the first 4 fights, Dominick Cruz was very confident of winning this as well. But it was one of the toughest fights of his streak. Both couldn't produce the result in 3 rounds. In the end, Dominick Cruz won it on a unanimous decision and moved his streak to 5-0. Dominick Cruz vs. Michael Barney 6-0. This fight was held on 24th February 2006 in Rage in the Cage 79, The Rage Returns. Michael Barney was not looking strong against Dominick Cruz as he lost 7 of his 11 fights so far. As the first round started, Dominick Cruz looked up against him and only took 2 minutes and 45 seconds to snatch the victory on TKO punches when the referee stopped him from striking. Dominick Cruz vs. Dave Izquierdo 7-0. Dominick Cruz faced Dave on 15th July 2006 in the Total Combat Entertainment 15. The fight continued for 5 rounds but couldn't produce the result. Both tried their best to add another win to their streaks, but in the end, Dominick Cruz won it on split decisions. Dominick Cruz vs. Juan Miranda 8-0. Dominick Cruz and Juan Miranda came face-to-face on 9th September 2006 In the Total Combat Entertainment 16, Dominick Cruz entered the ring with great confidence after winning the 7 straight fights. He took only 4 minutes of the very first round to win it on a rear naked choke. Dominick Cruz vs. Shad Smith 9-0. Dominick Cruz faced Shad Smith on 4th November 2006 in the Total Combat Entertainment 18 Nightmare. Both had won 8 fights so far and were ready to add another in their streaks. Fortunately, the luck was with Dominick Cruz, who won it unanimously and moved his streak to 9-0. Dominick Cruz vs. Uriah Faber 9-1. Dominick Cruz faced Uriah Faber on 24th March 2007 in WEC 6 Condit vs. Alessio. Uriah Faber was one of the more experienced opponents so far with 17 wins. Unfortunately, this time, Dominick Cruz couldn't produce the winning result and lost the fight of his streak. Uriah Faber defeated him at 1 minute and 38 seconds of the first round on a Guitone choke submission. Dominick Cruz vs. Kenneth Ames 10-0. Dominick Cruz faced Kenneth Ames on 22nd March 2008 in Total Combat 27. After losing the last fight from Uriah Faber, he really wanted to restart his winning habit. He started the fight with a great spirit and looked very strong. While Kenneth was making his professional debut, he looked like an easy opponent for him. Dominick Cruz only took 5 minutes of his first round to produce the winning results on KO punches. Dominick Cruz vs. Charlie Valencia 11-1. This fight was held on 1st June 2008 in WEC 34, Live On vs. Dominick Cruz stepped into the cage with a belief to defeat Charlie Valencia, but it did not prove an easy fight of his streak. Charlie Valencia gave him a tough time throughout the 3 rounds of 15 minutes, but in the end, he was able to add another win to his streak. Dominick Cruz vs. Ian McCall 12-1. Dominick Cruz faced Ian McCall on 25th January 2009 in WEC 38, Warner vs. Chirone. The fight continued for 15 minutes but couldn't produce the result. In the end, Dominick Cruz won it on a unanimous decision. After that, Ian McCall dropped the WEC roster to find his own path against smaller opponents. Dominick Cruz vs. Ivan Lopez 13-1. Dominick Cruz faced Ivan Lopez on 5th April 2009 in WEC 40, Torres vs. Mitsugaki. Cruz was a wrestler with great hands and very confident with 6 wins by stoppage, while Ivan Lopez was also undefeated so far, but he had not faced the competition of this level yet. Fortunately, Dominick Cruz put an end to Ivan Lopez's undefeated streak on a unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Dominick Cruz vs. Joe Benavidez 14-1. This fight was held on 9th August 2009 in WEC 42, Torres vs. Bowles. Joe Benavidez didn't lose any of his 7 fights so far and was very confident of winning this one as well. But Dominick Cruz didn't provide many opportunities to him in the fight and won it on a unanimous decision. He was able to win a 3rd consecutive fight on a unanimous decision this time. Dominick Cruz vs. Brian Bowles 15-1. Dominick Cruz faced Brian Bowles on 6th March 2010 in WEC 47, Bowles vs. Cruz. The former champion, Brian Bowles, was hoping to capture the bantamweight title, but unfortunately, his right hand was broken during the fight. After that, Doctor forced him to end the title bout before starting the 3rd round. He could not answer the bell for the 3rd round and lost his first streak fight. Dominick Cruz vs. Joe Benavidez 16-1. Dominick Cruz faced Joe Benavidez in his first title defense on 18th August 2010 in WEC 50, Cruz vs. Benavidez. They both also met in WEC 42, where Cruz walked away with a unanimous decision. Fortunately, Cruz again won this fight on a split decision and moved his streak to 16-1. Dominick Cruz vs. Scott Jorgensen 17-1. Dominick Cruz met Scott Jorgensen on 16th December 2010 in WEC 53, Henderson vs. Pettis. It was not an easy road for Scott Jorgensen to get the title after dropping from 2 highly competitive decisions to DiMaggio Page and Antonio Benuelos. However, he put on a great show throughout the 5 rounds of 35 minutes, but could not produce the winning results. In the end, Scott Jorgensen won it on a unanimous decision. Dominick Cruz vs. Uriah Faber 18-1. Dominick Cruz faced Uriah Faber on 2nd July 2011 in UFC 132, Cruz vs. Faber. which was the first event that the UFC hosted featuring the former WEC fighters. Faber dropped Cruz multiple times, but he recovered every time. Both gave their best to make it a fight of the year. In the end, Dominick Cruz won it on a unanimous decision and moved his unbeaten streak to 18-1. Dominick Cruz versus Demetrius Johnson, 19-1. This fight was held on 1st October 2011 in UFC Live 6, Cruz versus Johnson. Dominick Cruz and Demetrius were two of the UFC's fastest fighters who lived up to their reputation by fighting hard and fast. Cruz scored repeated takedowns and enjoyed sustained periods of side control on the ground. In the end, Dominick Cruz won the fight a unanimous decision. Dominick Cruz versus Takeya Mitsugaki, 20-1. This fight was held on 27 September 2014 in UFC 178, Kiriaso versus Johnson. Dominick Cruz was making his long-awaited UFC return and really wanted to start it with a win. He took only a few seconds of the first round to clip Takeya Mitsugaki, took him down, landed ground and pound to get the lightning-fast victory on strike stoppage. Dominick Cruz versus TJ Dillashaw, 21-1. Dominick Cruz challenged TJ Dillashaw in the UFC Fight Night 81, Dillashaw versus Cruz. Dillashaw was coming into the fight with a handful of knockouts under his belt. Fortunately, Dominick Cruz shocked TJ Dillashaw by split decision in an incredible back-and-forth battle. Dominick Cruz versus Uriah Faber, 22-1. This was the third time Dominick Cruz was facing Uriah Faber in his streak on 4th June 2016 in UFC 199, Rockhold versus Bisping 2. It was not just a title fight, as it was probably the match between the best MMA bantamweight ever and the most famous sub-lightweight fighter. But Cruz was already the favorite and he won it on a unanimous decision. Dominick Cruz versus Cody Garbrandt, 22-2. Dominick Cruz faced Cody Garbrandt on 30th December 2016 in the UFC 207, Nunes versus Rousey. Garbrandt was a quick starter with a huge power who could put anyone in the division to sleep. While Cruz was getting older, unfortunately, he lost the second fight of his streak on a unanimous decision after the 5th round. Dominick Cruz versus Henry Cejudo, 22-3. This fight was held on 9th May 2020 in the UFC 249, Ferguson versus Gaethje, where Henry Cejudo was fighting to defend the bantamweight belt. Unfortunately, it proved another defeat for Dominick Cruz. After this fight, Henry Cejudo announced his retirement at the age of 33 with a great streak of 16-2. Dominick Cruz versus Casey Kenny, 23-3. After losing previous two fights, Dominick Cruz appeared against Casey Kenny on 6th March 2021 in the UFC 259, Blachowicz versus Adesanya, which was his first non-title bout since September 2014. Fortunately, after the 3rd round, he won the fight on a split decision and moved his streak to 23-3. Dominick Cruz versus Pedro Monjas, 24-3. The recent fight of Dominick Cruz was against Pedro Monjas on 11th December 2021 in UFC 269, Oliveira versus Poirier. In the early part of the bout, things were not looking good for the former champion Dominick Cruz. Pedro stunned Dominick Cruz in the opening round and dropped him on multiple occasions. But somehow, Dominick Cruz overcame his fellow opponent and won the fight on a unanimous decision after the 5th round.
Hope you enjoyed our video. Please like, comment, and share it. See you all in the next one. Thank you. Bye.